In this video, we'll dive into the pros and cons of the policies and actions of President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. We'll explore their impact on the economy, international relations, community initiatives, business support, debt relief, job creation, gas prices, and taxes. Additionally, we'll look at their promises for the future. Let's get started. Joe Biden's administration has focused on economic recovery following the COVID-19 pandemic. A significant part of his strategy involved the American Rescue Plan, which injected $1.9 trillion into the economy. This move aimed to provide relief to individuals and businesses affected by the pandemic. Additionally, Biden has emphasized infrastructure investment, proposing the $2 trillion American Jobs Plan to create jobs and improve the country's infrastructure. However, some critics argue that his policies have contributed to rising inflation, impacting the cost of living. Donald Trump's economic policies were largely centered on tax cuts and deregulation. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 aimed to reduce taxes for individuals and corporations, spurring economic growth. His administration also rolled back numerous regulations, which supporters claim fostered a business-friendly environment. However, critics argue that these policies disproportionately benefited the wealthy and increased the national debt. Furthermore, the trade war with China introduced tariffs that some believe harmed American farmers and consumers. Biden's approach to international relations has focused on rebuilding alliances and restoring America's global standing. His administration has rejoined the Paris Agreement, committed to combating climate change, and re-engaged with NATO allies. Additionally, Biden has taken a firm stance against Russia and China on human rights issues. Despite these efforts, some critics argue that his withdrawal from Afghanistan was poorly executed, leading to a chaotic and tragic exit. Trump's foreign policy was characterized by an America First approach. He prioritized renegotiating trade deals such as the USMCA, which replaced NAFTA. Trump also brokered the Abraham Accords, fostering peace between Israel and several Arab nations. However, his critics argue that his administration's withdrawal from international agreements like the Paris Agreement and the Iran nuclear deal weakened global alliances. Additionally, his unpredictable behavior and rhetoric often strained relationships with traditional allies. Biden's policies have emphasized support for communities and small businesses, especially during the pandemic. The Paycheck Protection Program was extended, providing crucial financial assistance to small businesses. Additionally, Biden has focused on social justice issues, promoting policies aimed at reducing racial inequality and supporting underserved communities. Critics argue that some of his policies, such as increased regulations, may place additional burdens on businesses. Trump's administration claimed significant support for small businesses through tax cuts and deregulation. The Opportunity Zones program aimed to spur economic development in distressed communities. Additionally, Trump signed the First Step Act, a criminal justice reform bill designed to reduce recidivism and improve prison conditions. Critics, however, argue that his administration's response to social justice protests was divisive and that some policies disproportionately benefited larger corporations. Biden has made strides in addressing student debt, proposing to cancel up to $10,000 in student loans per borrower and extending the pause on federal student loan payments. His administration has also focused on broader debt relief measures to assist those struggling financially due to the pandemic. Critics argue that these measures could lead to higher taxes and increased national debt in the long run. Trump's administration did not focus heavily on student debt relief, but he did sign an executive order to temporarily suspend student loan payments during the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, his administration supported various financial relief measures through stimulus packages. Critics argue that his tax cuts significantly increased the national debt, potentially burdening future generations. Biden's American Jobs Plan is designed to create millions of jobs through investments in infrastructure, green energy, and manufacturing. His administration has also pushed for higher minimum wages and stronger labor protections. However, some critics argue that his policies could lead to job losses in industries affected by stricter regulations and higher operating costs. Trump's administration touted low unemployment rates and job growth prior to the pandemic, largely attributing this success to tax cuts and deregulation. The energy sector, particularly fossil fuels, saw significant support. Critics argue that his focus on traditional energy sources neglected the growing renewable energy sector and that job gains were unevenly distributed across the economy. Under Biden, gas prices have seen fluctuations, partly due to global factors and domestic policies promoting green energy. His administration's push for electric vehicles and renewable energy investments aims to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. However, critics argue that these policies may contribute to higher gas prices in the short term as the energy market transitions. Trump's administration supported the oil and gas industry through deregulation and expanding drilling opportunities. This approach aimed to lower gas prices and boost energy independence. Critics, however, argue that this emphasis on fossil fuels hindered progress toward renewable energy and contributed to environmental concerns. Biden's tax proposals include increasing taxes on the wealthy and corporations to fund infrastructure and social programs. He aims to ensure that high-income individuals and large corporations pay their fair share. Critics argue that these tax increases could stifle economic growth and discourage investment. Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act significantly reduced taxes for individuals and corporations, aiming to spur economic growth. Supporters claim that these cuts boosted the economy, while critics argue that they primarily benefited the wealthy and increased income inequality. The loss of revenue also contributed to a growing national debt. Biden's future promises include further investments in infrastructure, green energy, healthcare, and education. He has also pledged to address climate change and continue supporting policies for social justice and economic equity. Critics question the feasibility and cost of these ambitious plans, fearing they may lead to higher taxes and national debt. If re-elected, Trump promises to continue his America First policies, focusing on economic growth through tax cuts and deregulation. He aims to secure borders, renegotiate trade deals, and bolster the military. Critics argue that his policies may exacerbate income inequality and strain international relations. So, who are you voting for?